What kind of bombing was this?
This was an attack on a soft target. Frankly, if you look at international comparisons, we got lucky. This could have been much worse in terms of
more towards like Madrid.
And fatalities, yes.
Yeah.
Well, the FBI had been asked by the Russian government to look into one of the brothers here. Lindsey Graham, the senator, actually questioned whether the FBI fumbled here. Listen.
I want to know how the FBI or the system dropped the ball when he was identified as a potential terrorist. And the fact that we could not track him has to be fixed. It's people like this that you don't want to let out of your sight. And this was a mistake. I don't know if our laws are insufficient or the FBI failed, but we're at war with radical Islamists and we need to up our game.
After 9/11, there was a real focus on connecting the dots between what seemed like disparate events. Are we no longer as careful about connecting the dots anymore?
I don't think so. And I worked in this environment for quite a while. And I'll tell you, the FBI operates under very severe resource constraints and legal restraints into what it can do and how it can do it. So there are different levels of investigation that the FBI can take based on the information it has coming in about whether someone poses a threat in one way or another. What you had here was the most basic level, which was a basic interview. And at the end of the interview, 2 FBI agents wrote a memo saying, interviewed, asked the questions, no derogatory information, recommend no further action. That memo, of course, will be the subject of subsequent congressional oversight hearings. Further steps, wiretap, physical inspection, interviewing of relations, all the different things the FBI can do can't be done until there's better what we call predication.
I was asked a question this week, and I didn't have the answer for it. Maybe you have it. How many are in this country like these brothers? Is it 50,000?
Tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands.
And what happened here, Mike, it sounds like what we call a preliminary investigation, a PI. And the FBI opens them all the time and quickly closes them out. I'm not the least bit surprised they had had a previous encounter with these 2 individuals. In fact, last week in all of our discussion about it, I suggested that was probably the case. What
is the current state of surveillance for homegrown terrorists, like these brothers might have been, versus foreign terrorists?
As a general matter in the United States, we do not, the U.S. government does not conduct surveillance without reason to do so. So there's no broad-based collection, as there occasionally may be abroad. To do it, to really surveil someone at home, by which I mean their private communications, it requires some degree of proof that they, in fact, are at risk of causing a certain kind of violation. And as you get up to more precise and more damaging forms of violations, you can get extremely intrusive. But in a general matter, there's no vacuum cleaner of surveillance data on individuals inside the country.
We went from 2001 to 2013. Where will our organization and intelligence on terrorism be in 2020?
It's an excellent question. I think it will, first it will depend on if anything else happens. I think this attack will be an impetus for some reform on the domestic and law enforcement side. Most of what we did post 9/11 was really focused on the external foreign intelligence and military capabilities. The domestic side got quite a bit of attention, but I think this will remind people that we still need to be vigilant and keep working at home.
These brothers have a lot of relatives in the United States. What does all the events over the past week mean for those relatives? Are they under surveillance? Are they going to be questioned more severely?
Yes, they will all be interviewed and looked at. So what the law enforcement community will do is contact trace the 2 brothers and go to everyone who they're in contact, relatives, friends, teachers, imams at the mosque, everyone. And they will build the dossier on them, and at some point they may approach them to be interviewed, either consensually or in an adversarial way. Some of them may be charged if it's found that they either lied to law enforcement or assisted or abetted the attack.
Is the CIA involved in any of this?
Absolutely.
What do they do distinct from the FBI?
They run down the foreign leads. So the FBI has certain formal channels to go to foreign governments for assistance, but the CIA has more. CIA operates abroad in many of these countries. There's a CIA station in Moscow. There's a CIA presence in the Caucasus. Their job will be to find out what's really going on the ground.